But the paycheck that millions of Texans rely on every single week or every 2 weeks, the minimum wage is stuck at $7.25 an hour here in Texas. That number has not changed since 2009, even though we know the cost of everything has gone up. Let's talk about this with Chuck Flint, former U.S. Senate Chief of Staff and Principal at the Chatham Center Group. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
So looking at Texas compared to other states across the country, where do we land when it comes to the minimum wage right now?
Well, Texas is actually one of 20 states that's still at $7.25 an hour. There are other states that are higher. Washington State is the highest, and then California, New York, Florida has a higher minimum wage as well.
Obviously, we've seen the price of everything go up. Inflation obviously is a real thing here. Politically, why has there been a political argument as to why we have not raised the minimum wage here in Texas?
Well, the minimum wage in Texas is $7.25 an hour, but the market has actually surpassed that. So 99% of hourly employees in Texas actually make more than the minimum wage, which is interesting. Also, demographically, 43% of minimum wage hourly workers are under the age of 25. You're talking about a lot of people that are, they're students, they're people that are just, they're working in maybe like a part-time capacity.
So why wouldn't our lawmakers just raise if you've heard or no, why wouldn't our lawmakers just raise it then at that point?
No, because the market, it's not something that the market is really dictating right now. I think if it's something that market forces would dictate, then they would go ahead and do it. And Texas has also fostered a great economic environment. Look at all the growth that we've had relative to other states. The IRS migration data is actually really interesting. If you look at some of the states that have raised the minimum wage is tied to cost of living. California and New York lost over 370,000 residents that took $23.5 billion in adjusted gross income with them. Texas is the beneficiary of a lot of that.
So the debate at this point has reignited to raise the minimum wage. Where do things stand now here in Texas with that?
Well, they've had proposals to do it, but Texas is actually interesting. So Texas has a law that preempts any municipality from passing an ordinance that would raise the minimum wage. Now, you can do it for the government, and Harris County actually did that recently. So they pay their government workers about $20 an hour. Now, that did cost the taxpayer an additional $5 million a year. So the government does it, they have a backstop, but for private businesses, they don't have that backstop. So once again, it's about market forces. I'm not advocating one way or another to raise it or to not raise it, but I'm saying that if it's done, it's something that should be done with input and data from the private sector and the market.
Do you foresee this, from your viewpoint, potentially changing here soon?
I don't. It's not something that I see any momentum on at the state level, at the federal level. I can tell you that recently Los Angeles did try this. They passed a $30 an hour minimum wage with the hotel industry, and immediately the hotel industry responded by reducing its workforce by 6%. They also cut back on hours. So that's always kind of the argument, Delon. So advocates will say people need a living wage. They'll say that it injects money back into the economy. And you'll have people that are non-advocates that are going to say that employers will respond by cutting hours and also by cutting workers and having to raise costs, which trickles down to consumers.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for coming in, sir.
Appreciate it.